Collisions. In physics, we study motion, that is, change in position. At the same time, we try to discover physical quantities which do not change in a physical process. The laws of momentum and energy conservation are typical examples. In this session, we shall apply these laws to commonly encountered phenomena, namely collisions. Several games such as billiards, marbles, or carom involve collisions. We shall study the collision of two masses in an idealized form. Consider two masses m1 and m2. The particle m1 is moving with speed v1I, the subscript I implying initial. We can consider m2 to be at rest. No loss of generality is involved in making such a selection. In this situation, the mass m1 collides with the stationary mass m2, and this is depicted in figure 6.10. Figure 6.10, collision of mass m1 with a stationary mass m2. The masses m1 and m2 fly off in different directions. We shall see that there are relationships which connect the masses and velocities and the angles. Elastic and inelastic collisions. In all collisions, the total linear momentum is conserved. The initial momentum of the system is equal to the final momentum of the system. One can argue this as follows. When two objects collide, the mutual impulsive forces acting over the collision time delta t cause a change in their respective momenta. Delta p1 equals f12 into delta t. Delta p2 equals f21 into delta t, where F12 is the force exerted on the first particle by the second particle. F21 is likewise the force exerted on the second particle by the first particle. Now from Newton's third law, F12 equals minus F21. This implies delta P1 plus delta P2 equals 0. The above conclusion is true even though the forces were in a complex fashion during the collision time delta t. Since the third law is true at every instant, the total impulse on the first object is equal and opposite to that on the second. On the other hand, the total kinetic energy of the system is not necessarily conserved. The impact and deformation during collision may generate heat and sound. Part of the initial kinetic energy is transformed into other forms of energy. A useful way to visualize the deformation during collision is in terms of compressed spring. If the spring connecting the two masses regains its original shape without loss in energy, then the initial kinetic energy is equal to the final kinetic energy, but the kinetic energy during the collision time delta t is not constant. Such a collision is called an elastic collision. On the other hand, the deformation may not be relieved and the two bodies could move together after the collision. A collision in which the two particles move together after the collision is called completely inelastic collision. The intermediate case, where the deformation is partly relieved and some of the initial kinetic energy is lost, is more common and appropriately called an inelastic collision. Collisions in one dimension. Consider first a completely inelastic collision in one dimension. Then in figure 6.10, theta 1 equals theta 2 equals 0. m1 into v1I equals m1 plus m2 into vf. Momentum conservation. Vf equals m1 by m1 plus m2 into v1I. The loss in kinetic energy on collision is delta k equals half m1 v1I square minus half m1 plus m2 into vf square, which equals half m1 v1I square minus half m1 square by m1 plus m2 into v1I square, using equation 6.23, equals half m1 into v1I square into 1 minus m1 by m1 plus m2, equals half into m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into v1I square, which is a positive quantity as expected. Consider next an elastic collision. Using the above nomenclature with theta 1 equals theta 2 equals 0, the momentum and the kinetic energy conservation equations are m1 v1I equals m1 v1f plus m2 v2f, which implies m1 v1I square equals m1 v1f square plus m2 v2f square. From equation 6.24 and 6.25, it follows that m1 into v1I into v2f minus v1f equals m1 v1f into v2f minus v1f, or v2f into v1I plus minus v1f equals v1i square minus v1f square, which equals v1i minus v1f into v1i plus v1f. Hence, therefore, v2f equals v1i plus v1f. Substituting this in equations 6.24, we obtain v1f equals m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into v1i, and v2f equals 2 m1 v1i by m1 plus m2. Thus, the unknowns v1f and v2f are obtained in terms of the knowns, that is m1, m2, v1i. Special cases of our analysis are interesting. Case 1. If the two masses are equal, v1f equals 0, v2f equals v1i. The first mass comes to rest and pushes off the second mass with its initial speed on collision. Case 2. If one mass dominates, example, m2 is much greater than m1, v1f is approximately minus v1i and v2f is approximately 0. The heavier mass is undistributed while the lighter mass reverses its velocity. If the initial velocities and final velocities of both the bodies are along the same straight line, then it is called a one-dimensional collision or head-on collision. In the case of small spherical bodies, it is possible if the direction of the travel of body 1 passes through the center of the body 2, which is at rest. In general, the collision is two-dimensional where the initial velocities and the final velocities lie in a plane. Collisions in two dimensions. Figure 6.10 also depicts a collision of a moving mass m1 with a stationary mass m2. Linear momentum is conserved in such a collision. Since momentum is a vector, this implies three equations for the three directions x, y, z. Consider the plane determined by the final velocity directions of m1 and m2 and choose it to be the xy plane. The conservation of the z component of the linear momentum implies that the entire collision is in the xy plane. The x and y component equations are m1 v1i equals m1 v1f cos theta 1 plus m2 v2f cos theta 2. 0 equals m1 v1f sin theta 1 minus m2 v2f sin theta 2. One knows m1, m2 and v1i in most situations. There are thus four unknowns: v1f, v2f, theta 1 and theta 2, and only two equations. If theta 1 equals theta 2 equals 0, we regain equation 6.24 for one-dimensional collision. If further the collision is elastic, half m1 v1i square equals half m1 v1f square plus half m2 v2f square. We obtain an additional equation that still leaves us one equation short. At least one of the four unknowns, say theta 1, must be made known for the problem to be solved. For example, theta 1 can be determined by moving a detector in an angular fashion from the x to the y axis. Given m1, m2, v1i, theta 1, we can determine v1f, v2f, theta 2 from equations 6.29 to 6.31. The matter simplifies greatly if we consider spherical masses with the smooth surfaces and assume that collision takes place only when the bodies touch each other. This is what happens in the games of marbles, carom and billiards. In our everyday world, collisions take place only when two bodies touch each other. But consider a comet coming from far distance to the sun, or alpha particle coming towards a nucleus and going away in some direction. Here we have to deal with forces involving action at a distance. Such an event is called scattering. The velocities and directions in which the two particles go away depend on their initial velocities as well as the type of interaction between them, their masses, shapes and sizes.